Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party successfully infiltrated the great airship designed by Tropu Bikok, the engineer of the Scar Concord, who was in charge of providing headquarters, transportation, and manpower to the political conspiracy of the Concord. Climbing aboard, taking an unfortunate casualty in the process, the party snuck around on the ship, and after a series of convoluted shenanigans, managed to orchestrate the assassination of not only Tropu Bikok, but his second in command, Brogdu, the goblin, who revealed that they had taken over Raccoon's goblin colony when they were a child, exiled them into the forest to die, and taken over the colony and put the goblins to work under Tropu. But with both dead, the goblins in the headquarters appear to have turned, not willing to endanger their own lives for the sake of Brogdu's selfish objective of ascending to dragonhood. However, with the assassination of the last of the captains complete, the robots are now alerted to the assassins' locations, and presumably will be bearing down shortly. Meanwhile, Zephyr and Red rest within Capacitas, having infiltrated the city over the wall as the soldiers and patrols were mostly distracted elsewhere. And while infiltrating, secured a small little hut where the unlucky denizen didn't snore too much to disrupt their sleep. And meanwhile, Lucian made their way back onto the ship after having leapt from it in a panic, and single-handedly fought and snuck their way across to the bow of the great airship, where the largest cannon is being operated and fired, with intent to potentially just blow the entire structure up, or threaten and subdue the crew if necessary. But that is where we left off. So, without further ado, Lucian. It is the dead of night, and the moon shines over as you stealthily make your way. The airship is still largely in complete chaos. The surge of machines and machinery never quite halting their endless din. But luckily, with the scene the party is making with the assassinations of the leaders, most attention is not on you, and you manage to make it to the bow of the ship largely unimpeded. You pass two structures similar to the back engines, where balloons and blimps hold the entire structure aloft. Just the sheer amount of hot air, fire, and canvas that is required to keep this massive superstructure in the air is amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At the bow, you see two massive looming sets of propellers and clockwork Da Vinci-style wings that presumably help keep the thing moving in a steerable fashion. And in between those two massive propellers, coming into a crest similar to the storage bay at the stern, you see several structures kind of built into each other that all give off the glow of lantern light. This area appears inhabited and not by machinery. You can hear voices from inside the structure. The center of the structure appears to be a massive steel silo with smaller silos kind of offshooting from it. And as you're kind of taking in your surroundings and getting a feel for what you should do, you can literally hear the cannon this close. And another explosion down in the city below, and screaming erupts. As you take in your surroundings, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go towards the cannon. I'm gonna try to sneak around the lanterns and see if there's anything or anyone manning it.
Okay. Make a stealth check, and then follow
Okay.
that with a perception check.
Okay. I can do that. My stealth is not as great as our rogue boys, but it's still pretty good. Let's see. 15 for stealth, and you said perception?
Yes. So yeah, 15 stealth, noted.
Ooh, that's really good. 25? Yeah, 25.
Okay.
Ow!
I was just making sure I got all the things I needed to posted. Okay. Lucian, as you carefully kind of avoiding the central lights of the lanterns, sticking to the outskirts, even if that does keep you precariously close to another several thousand feet drop, you carefully creep around the buildings and survey the area. And it actually does pay off. You notice something.
Ooh.
Off to the starboard side, starboard. Off to the starboard side of the main structure, you see a tall tower of some kind. Made of mostly wood, although you can see some steel mixed into its design. And it has this kind of like almost crane-like, as in like the mechanical crane, this mechanical crane design with a counterbalance weight on one end and what appears to be a metallic pulley cable on the other. And kind of paying attention, you see that as you kind of trace the line, you can actually make out that the magical cannon also serves double duty as the figurehead of this draconic airship, looking like a dragon's head, which is positioned, adjusted in its aim, and then presumably the crew loads and fires projectiles from it. And you notice that this little tower is effectively acting as the mechanism to adjust its aim. And you can see a series of metal ropes and traditional woven ones weaving down into the floor of the airship, and there's this kind of metallic grate where you can see the network of ropes leading under and presumably up into the central silo. So this tower acts as the mechanism that allows them to adjust and aim the cannon before firing it.
So I can assume that they're probably in the silo thing?
Yeah, again, you can hear voices coming from it, and again, there's lights on, so presumably whatever's in there isn't mechanical.
Can I tell what language they're speaking?
Make another perception check.
Okay. Ooh. It's the same as my passive, 23.
Okay. Moving away from the tower, you creep a bit closer to the silo, taking your chances getting into range of the lantern lights. And as you crouch down next to a big steel door that blocks entry, you press your head close to the cold steel, and you can hear those on the other side kind of talking to each other. You do not understand what they're saying. However, you do recognize the language by its tone and sort of cadence. You've heard Caro and Raccoon speak it before. Goblet.
I'm going to cast tongues on myself so I can understand and speak it.
Okay. And you're just gonna kind of chill and eavesdrop for a bit.
I just kind of want to kind of get the sense of what they're saying before I do anything. I do have a plan ish. Let me see here. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was just taking off the spell.
I'm sure the captain's got this figured out. Let's just give him time. Honestly, I appreciate not having to do much work. Although, I will admit it's, demoralizing? Yeah, demoralizing. Being replaced. Oh, you think he's just gonna get rid of us after all said and done? After all we've done for him? We're the only reason he's got this far. Well, you heard what he said. He'll tear apart anyone he has to get what he wants. But I'm not hearing any screaming or cursing, so either he's pulled it off or the intruders on the ship got it dealt with quietly.
I'm gonna knock on the door.
That'll probably be him now. Coming, Mr. Peacock.
I'm not gonna say anything yet.
There's a moment of pause. There's a moment of pause before the vault turns and the door is hoisted open. Standing before you, you see a relatively plain-looking goblin, brown skin, red eyes, and their greasy hair is, as per most goblins, black, but it is kind of longer and curlier than you're used to, and they're wearing what appears to be a somewhat messy bowler cap. The rest of their clothes are relatively plain leathers, although you notice the leathers are with ropes and various sticky materials kept close to their arms. That the sort of parkourer's garb, which you estimate is likely because, again, they're on this airship all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna like as soon as he like takes an intake of breath to say something to me, I'm just gonna hold up a finger and I'll just gonna be like, now I want you to listen to me very closely. Your captain and that little grease ball that follows him around, they are really, really, really bad, and they are going to what was it? What's the word?
Die.
Well, no. Well, yes. If they don't, if my friends don't kill them first, they're going to come here and kill you. So I suggest that you and your friends scurry off before you and all of you can die. This is just a warning, but I'm just trying to be nice.
First, what language are you speaking?
I will be speaking Goblin.
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Okay. My phone decided to time out. Hang on. Persuasion. Where is persuasion? There it is. +7. Ooh.
That's a
30. Dirty 20.
The greasy-haired goblin looks over his shoulder and kind of peeking over it. You can see that this center silo is essentially a glorified furnace of sorts. At least at least that's what you can most closely equate the structure to. This immense heat radiates from it, but rather than a fireplace, you see that what the goblins are operating on is this very unusual mechanism. You almost think of it like a ballista, except it's positioned directly into the wall, and a huge network of metal wiring and ropes ties it to allow these very minute adjustments. And you notice that, again, continuing the ballista metaphor, even though it's pointed like essentially directly into the wall, you see that rather than the big bolt that would be mounted on ballista, you see gleaming monocrystal tipping a metallic shaft. And initially, several goblins. There appears to be about 10 in this room. About half of them appear to be operating this mechanism. And then several were just kind of sitting around, like seemingly on break, essentially. But all work has come to a complete stop. And the goblin you had spoken to kind of looks over his shoulder at all the goblins and thinks for a minute before looking back to you and tell us something we don't know. Where are we supposed to go? There's no way off for those of us who can't fly, and even if we make it that far, the boss will probably just have his machines kill us all.
Well, me and my friends are going to take care of the machines, and I can probably guarantee you that my friends, if they haven't already, are taking care of the captain and greaseball problem. As for a way to get down, how many of there are you?
He thinks for a minute and all right, sorry, I was checking some. He thinks for a minute and about 10 of us to each gun. Goblins and Tengu from Tropu and Brogdu's tribes. So about
Are
probably.
you all from the same tribe? Or see, I have a little goblin friend, and I'm just trying to save your hide because I love her and I don't want to kill her people, you know.
The goblin gives a nod, and you notice a few other goblins kind of perk up noticeably when you mention having a goblin friend, and kind of start muttering to each other. The lead goblin, or at least seeming kind of acting in that stead, kind of bites his lip, and we used to be different colonies, but Tropu and Brogdu working together brought our colonies together too.
Do you have somewhere to go?
What's left of our colony is all the way in Wicket, and it's a long way to
That's
get.
where I'm from. But do you, I mean, okay, there's mountains around here, right?
Yes, Sundragon is a mount. There's mountains to the west of you.
Could you not make home in the mountains here?
He kind of contemplates this, and one of the other goblins pipes up. You notice this goblin is a seems to be female. They're kind of older and fatter looking one. Their face is this kind of deep red, green skin, yellow eyes. And she kind of pipes up, looking at you more than the other goblins. I'd say it's the best chance we got. Might as well take it. There's nothing left for us back in Wicket. Tell the Tengu they can come along if they feel like it, as long as they don't cause any more trouble. I've had enough of all this.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you guys leave now, you probably won't be attacked by anybody from Sundragon. I mean, you guys did make a big mess, and you did kind of hurt them a lot. But I understand the situation, and I do think that it would be in your best interest to leave now if you can. I can try to help. I've got some magic left. I could probably try to help you guys get down. But I will need some help to figure out how to not get hurt by the propellers, because I don't know my way around the ship, but you guys do.
You notice all the goblins look now to the one who had spoken earlier, and this goblin, kind of looking at them closer under the blue glow of the crystal at the front of the metal shaft, is donned in this kind of all-consuming black, this kind of black coat, wide-brimmed black hat, almost this kind of like witch hunter vibe to their dress.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of looks around at everyone and kind of thinks for a moment and what, so I'm suddenly leader again?
I love her.
All right. She kind of pinches the bridge of her stubby little goblin nose and we'll try to hide from the machines, make our way to the engines, pick up the Tengu from the ballista, and with any luck, there's enough of them left to fly us down.
Okay. If you guys would like, could you please turn off the machine? And on the way there, I'll protect you if anything tries to, kill you.
Oh, you
How's
mean
that
this
for
thing?
deal? Yes! The dragon head that is shooting at the wall.
Without us here, it won't fire anymore on its own. That's the only reason I think Tropu kept us around.
Well, if it's any consolation, I think he's either dead or dying at this very moment.
You can see some of the crew actually looks a little concerned, but the female goblin kind of claps her hands together and, well, best not to wallow in our grief. And she looks around to all the goblins. Look, I know things are complicated, but now's not the time to wallow in grief, people. We got to get moving. If he really is dead and Brogdoo's along with him, then this ship's not going to be staying in the air for much longer.
Yep, so best to get going. Come on, let's go. She kind of like gestures like that, scoot.
She gestures, and while again the goblins do seem hesitant to just drop their loyalty to Tropu and Brogdoo completely, at the female goblin's behest, they do start funneling out. And the goblin in black is the last one to leave and kind of shuts and locks the vault door behind her. Although as she does so, she turns to you as the goblins kind of carefully look around, searching the area for any signs of mechanical issue. She looks up to you and in a low voice, still speaking in Goblic, "That goblin girl, does she have a name?"
Raccoon.
Cute.
I think she said that. Did I hear that she used to be called Gek?
I believe that's been mentioned a couple times.
Okay. I think that like her other name was Get or Gek or something. I'm probably mispronouncing it. I'm still pretty new at speaking Goblin.
As soon as you say the name Gecht, the goblin's eyes widen, the pupils expanding, and There's a long silence before. Where is she now?
Okay, I will tell you if I can have that key.
Key.
Yeah, the one that you locked the door with.
Oh, she just gestures to the crank of the vault. Just give it a turn and it'll lock and unlock itself.
Oh, okay. Well, she is helping my friends kill the captain, so she's probably that way. And she kind of like gestures to where she saw them last.
And Lucy and you, this goblin woman and the other goblins from the bow cannon watch as you can see just machinery swarming the port side command blimp. This just writhing mass of metal.
Oh boy. Well, the good news is they're not after you guys. So now's a good time as any.
She kind of hesitates and the rest of you, half of you head to the starboard ballista, rest of you to the port ballista. Find the Tengus, tell them what's happened, and get them to get you guys out of here. And what will you be doing exactly in this arrangement? I'm heading to that blimp.
Are you sure? I mean, those guys are pretty strong. Nothing that you're not strong, you don't understand. It's just, I don't want you to get hurt.
She shakes her head, and it's something I gotta do. You can come with me if you want, or join.
Well, my friends are there, so of course I'm going to come.
All right. You guys break, and she looks around and kind of squints in the moonlight at the walls of Capacitas and stay low, use the dunes as cover. We'll meet at the edge of the western wall, right where it meets the lake. Sure thing, boss. And with that, the goblins separate, and the goblin woman turns to you, and...
What is your name? Oh, I was actually going to ask the same thing. I'll extend my hand. My name is Lucy Nelefikir.
Nixie.
Nixie. Okay, hang on. I gotta write that down. Where's my notebook? Nixie. Nixie the Goblin. Okay. Alright. Nixie. N-I-X-I-E?
Yeah, or N-Y-X-I.
Okay. Let's go kill some machines.
The battle's not over by the time we get there. The ship is huge. It's going to take us hours.
I may have something for that.
Well, don't leave me in suspense.
Hang on, I'm looking at my spells, see if I actually do have it. I think I should.
What is it with the two of you and being like, I have a spell for this, and then just like, no, let me see if I actually do.
No.
Yeah, seriously, like if you don't know,
Okay.
like...
I do have it. It's just for some reason
not prepared.
I don't understand how to do this.
Well, yeah, what are you trying to do?
I was gonna do Expeditious Retreat, but
Okay.
for some reason I can't find it.
Did you prepare it today?
I should have, because I was planning to do it.
Well, whether you were planning to do it or not, did you do it?
And it's D&D Beyond is being a bitch. Okay.
I don't see it on your spell list. I don't think you prepared it today.
Is it level 1 or level 2?
Yeah, no, it's not on your list. You didn't prepare it today.
Okay. Then I don't. Actually, I did get a new spell that would work. I got Dimension Door, which I did prepare because we just leveled up. That's like 500 feet. I think. Oh, I did. It's right there. Expeditious Retreat under first level spell. But it only lets me move, so I couldn't take her with me. So there goes that idea. But I think Dimension Door lets me take one person with me. Could have sworn I did that. Did I prepare that spell? I could have sworn I did.
I don't see Dimension Door either.
I should have Dimension Door.
And I will say, are the two of you going to be making your way stealthily, normally, or sprinting?
I mean, at this point, is there really a point? Because like all of the guys are going that way, and all of the goblins are pretty much taken care of. So I don't really see a point.
All right. In that case,
I'll just take her hand and I'll say, "Let's run."
All right. Which she happily does so. Read my mind. And the two of you start sprinting your way across the airship.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go as fast as my feet can carry me.
Okay, let me double check your everything here. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. The moon shines with a bright gleam, glinting off of the metal, various bars and wirings of the ship, which is gradually getting more and more decrepit as the night goes on. Just the various battles that are being fought, damaging its integrity, and it's honestly becoming more and more miraculous that this entire structure is not just falling to the ground at this point. Morning slowly begins to crest on the horizon. Zephyr. You awaken early. You don't take time to attune. You don't take time to really even rest your mind. You just rest your body to its barest minimum and awaken with the dawn. At a glance, the sound of combat has not completely stopped, although it has noticeably slowed. The explosions you heard periodically stopped sometime in the night. Red, who is going in for a longer rest, does not appear to be awake yet, curled up on the bed next to the previous occupant of the house. Looking up in the sky, it is a dreary, smoky dawn, with red tainting the skies. Zephyr, you get a long rest, and since you got in and the night kind of continued for several hours, I'd say at this point, it's like 6 or 7 in the morning. Point is, it's early. It's too early to be awake, is my point. Okay. And I'm assuming you're going to do this quietly so as to not wake your little friend? Or do you just not really care? Alright. While there's not a other room in this hut, you can just head into the backyard if you want. Alright. Heading out into the backyard, you're able to get a look around. You see the airship is still afloat. However, there's not much movement you can see on it, although it's daylight, so your vision leaves a bit to be desired. And there is still smoke rising from Capacitas, and you can still see a battle being fought on the walls. But beyond that, what you can take in is minimal, but gives you the idea that the battle is raging, but its highest pitch is de escalating. As you, over the course of a few minutes, take the armor that you've basically been more or less wearing constantly since this adventure began, uh, and set it to the side in the backyard of this hut that overlooks the farmland of southern Capacitas. All right. Wearing a set of studded leather armor, you attach your new armor again over the course of a few minutes. It fits you relatively well, as you expected. A little tight around the broad of the chest and the waist. You have bulked up a little bit over the course of all this, marathon running and fighting. Um, uh, so maybe you want to see if there's any like obvious signs of the dragon's presence. Make a perception check, and this is in sunlight, so yeah, disadvantage. Looking around, you don't see anything that would indicate an obvious dragon horde. There are mountains in the area. Perhaps the dragon nests in one of those. There's the big cathedral, certainly would be a good place for a dragon. You can also see the palace, where presumably Sun Dragon herself lives. Um, uh, but you don't see anything that jumps out to you as dragon horde here.
They don't have the fancy shoes.
Okay. Zephyr, you've made up your mind. You take off your spider climb slippers, putting them discarded next to your previous armor set. You feel at your wrists for where the invisible gloves attached and pull them free. You can see the fabric, this kind of blackish brown, has been weathered by use, but you delicately place them on top of your slippers, and bit by bit, you remove the various magical and technological memorabilia you've accumulated over the course of this journey. Okay. 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 Discarding your equipment that would offer you any assistance during the heist. You don't have anything to prove. You've snuck under the noses of the Scar Concord multiple times. You've evaded armies. You've evaded your family. You've evaded your party, even as nosy and observant as they can be. But this one's this one's for you. You're determined to prove that you don't need magical aid or technological gadgetry to do what you do. You are a born thief. It's in your blood. You attune to your amulet of proof against detection and stand to your small little height and overlook Capacitas. You are at as much of a disadvantage as you're willing to give yourself. You're going into this heist with a handicap. What do you do? Okay. Okay. So you start just organizing your supplies a little bit, attuning to your medallion, putting your supreme healing potion into your dwarven bottle. Uh, you still have your automatic healing potion attached to your thigh. Anything else you'd like to do? Oh, okay. So you're gonna wait for Red to wake up then? Okay. Make a perception check. All right. Zephyr, you survey the surroundings, and your eyes are giving a chance now to adjust in the sunlight. You can see the rolling hills that lead out into the central sort of desert valley that Capacitas is situated in. You see that the towering cathedral uh, is more or less in the center of it all, and the palace is built up into the mountains on the exact opposite side of the city from you. Uh, and with that said, you survey your surroundings. You see there are still soldiers on the walls, fighting and shouting. Although, again, the fighting appears to have slowed. It's reduced in intensity, and you watch for almost an hour, and you don't see that front cannon of the airship fire again. So presumably your party's at least gotten as far as disabling the weapons. And after about another hour after your attunement and precision dosage adjustment, you hear a slight shifting from the room and turn to see Red snaking his way across the wooden floor out to join you in the backyard. As the tail curls and they kind of almost create a little seat for themselves as they get comfortable and join you in just overlooking the surroundings. There's a kind of moment of pause, just silence between the two of you before Red just kind of offhandedly. Interesting strategy. You want me to come along? Aye. Sure thing. Come on. Let's start casing. Red gives a nod and starts to slither off down the hill and towards the center city. Will you follow? Okay. Make me an investigation check as you try to find, as you said, where's the money? Where's the fucking money? All right. I'll say red is helping you, so you have advantage. I was about to roll for him, but then I was like, oh wait, NPC, he's probably just gonna help. Okay. Zephyr, you and your Ichor spawn make your way across farmlands and hills before making your way into the center of Capacitas. You're actually the first of the party to step foot in the city proper now.
Yeah, we all kind of just got it in our head that we're gonna go fight this alone.
You find yourself in a very kind of dense looking city. Again, as I mentioned whenever you first saw it, most of this city is built very outward, and then the buildings themselves are these like towers of different structures. It's this weird mixture of like building out and building up. Each building you pass has like multiple layers to it. But there's still just so much. And you may not be a history buff, but you've heard offhandedly that Sun Dragon is a very war-happy and conquesty kingdom. So this definitely seems like it's eating up more land than it really needs to. But the people... Well, I can't say the people seem happy. You honestly don't see people much of anywhere. Littering the area are the destroyed remains of automatons, similar to the ones your party had encountered in the desert. You can see one of the robotic tigers just kind of slouched on the ground, pieces of its body ripped by blades and what appears to be just sheer brute force. Initially, as you search the area, it's sandy, there's wind, the airship certainly not helping that, and it's bright, broad daylight. You're not exactly in your element. You're in an unfamiliar city, it's windy and sandy, in the middle of the day. But eventually, Red kind of guiding you along with their tail, you stick to the alleyways, of which there are plenty, and start kind of literally and metaphorically snaking your way through Capacitas. You pass by a museum, several monuments, hospitals, schools, before eventually, Red, as you're pulling into an alley, at this point about in the center of the city itself, Red brings you to a stop as you two crouch in an alleyway and there, and gestures. Across a sandy street from you, you can see a large, kind of wooden domed building. However, you see parts of the roof are caved and have holes in it, and the doors appear to have been completely blown open, and out in front is this kind of impromptu set of barricades, just crates and boxes stacked up to act as a sort of palisade. And in the center of all that, you see what appears to be a human man with a sleeveless tunic and a red bandana, carrying a crossbow, and just kind of leaning against one of the boxes, appearing to be asleep. Look at him. He's out like a light. Easy. My concern is we don't know what's inside. Aye. You got a plan? All right. Okay. And are you going to be going with him? All right, so you're going to let Red get a little bit ahead of you, enough to have a good distance from him, and then try and sneak in yourself? Okay. In that case... Okay. 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 Red gets low to the ground, kind of using their arms and hands to crawl and pull their snake body along in the sand, and quietly serpentine their way around the impromptu barricade, kind of taking a moment to stare at the sleeping guard to ensure that he's not faking it, before going around and beginning to scale the dome-like wall. And the last you see of him is him wiggling inside one of the holes that have been blasted in the ceiling and out of sight. Okay.
Does that make him...
Okay. Roll stealth with advantage. Okay. And are you willing to head inside, or are you just like, how far are you intending to go, basically? Oh, so you're going to go up the same way he did? Something like that. I know. Yeah, I know. Swimming works that way. Yeah. When climbing and swimming, each movement speed counts as difficult terrain unless you have a climbing or swimming speed. So yeah, it's yeah. I'll say round up for this. From the looks of it, it's again it's like an impressive enough structure, but it's not huge. You'd estimate that the peak of the dome is about 25 feet high, but the hole that Red went into is only about 20 feet up. All right, and you already rolled stealth, so is that what you're going to go for? Okay. You don't have Red's natural gift for silence, and the magical and technological items that were bolstering you are no longer helping you here. But you carefully tiptoe your way past the guard, kind of watching your surroundings carefully. And after a moment, you watching your surroundings, don't see anyone on the streets, and approach the bottom of the dome and start to climb. And you, scurrying along almost like a squirrel, make your way up, around, and you reach the hole that Red had disappeared into. Looking down, you see that Red is currently vigorously looking around at what appears to be just a veritable pile of various coins and gems. Make a perception check. And I'm still going to say disadvantage applies because of the holes in the ceiling, but yeah, go ahead and roll perception. Okay. Zephyr, holding your hand to look against the sunlight and peering down into the hole, not quite diving straight in yet. You see that initially it feels smaller than you had hoped for. Judging from the hole in the ceiling and the fact that you already noticed chunks of the coins are scattered or just straight up missing, it seems like a lot of what was in here has already been taken by the flying machines. Likely the reason that they had a guard posted outside. However, your disappointment abates whenever you take a closer look at the coins that still remain. You do not see gleaming piles of gold like you had seen in Mercurial. Instead, you see smaller piles of platinum coins. And along with them are a wide variety of different gems. You can see pearls and lazulis and spinels and opals. You see a zircon. There is gems and jewelry everywhere, and scattered piles of platinum coins that the robots have not yet gotten to. With a dirty 20, I'll say there looks to be just shy of 700 platinum pieces. $10 gold to a plat. And then who knows how much in gems. All right. With your earlier perception, I'll go ahead and throw that in. Look, kind of craning your neck to have your head inside the hole now. Looking around, most of this is inside a very simple wooden dome. You can tell, understandably, that this bank wasn't designed with aerial robbery as a possibility. But you can see that there is a glass window that leads into this room. And through it, you can just make out the leg of one guard who appears to be laying against the wall of this room, or rather on the other side of this room, and the business end of what appears to be a rifle in the other. So there appears to be 2 guards at least in the next room from that you can see from up here, and then of course that third guy outside. Yes, it's hard mode. Straight downwards, no. Red is just keeping low to the ground. There's not a lot in here. Again, the robots seem to have been doing a lot of cleaning out before you got here. So there's not much in the way of hiding places. However, looking around, again, with your earlier perception, you do notice that there is a sort of what you think may be a blind spot. If you hug the wall closest to the glass door, they may not be able to see you through it. But those two blind spots are the only place you can see that would make an obvious hiding spot. There is jewels and coins in here, but not enough to hide yourself under or behind. And the room itself is otherwise pretty barren. You can't see them clearly, but judging from the leg of the one laying against the wall, that one at least appears to be facing away from you. But again, you cannot see them. You can just see a rifle and a leg, and those are on opposite sides of the wall, so you know there's at least two of them. Uh-oh. All right. What'd you have in mind? Aye. Well, if you're gonna distract them, do it fast. They're not gonna be asleep forever. Not that you can see. Again, this appears to be a relatively mundane. The last bank you robbed was like this ancient dwarvish thing, so there was a lot of like booby traps and structure to it. This is just a very simple, here's where all the valuable shit is, and a way to keep people from getting in. Which, again, when there's already a hole blasted in the ceiling by robots, kind of becomes a moot point. Okay. Any creature that hears it can determine the distance based on the tone. Okay, and how close are you going to be throwing this? Yeah, there's the one across the street that you and Red came from. All right. You reel back and throw your coin, and it spins through the air before disappearing into the alley, and you can make out a almost like a tuning fork. And the guy up front doesn't appear to react, but you notice Red crouch lower to the ground and kind of peeking your head inside. You can see the leg that you could see twitch and kind of draw inward, and as the melodic ringing continues to sound out, you see an arm reach across to the rifle and shake, presumably the person holding it, who also starts to move. And you can seems like it. Bear in mind, last night was the first time in weeks that fucking cannon wasn't bombarding the city. And you hear another voice from outside, not coming from the guy at the little barricade, but a fourth person who appeared to have been inside but out of your range of sight, calling out, "There's something in the alleyway!" And you can see the two guards nearest to the door pick up muskets and start running out of the bank towards the alleyway. And you take your chance to spare a quick glance, as you obviously don't want to be sitting out in daylight on the roof when they start investigating the surrounding area. But you can see two female guards and a male guard rush out of the bank, and one of the female guards holding a musket kind of slaps the back of the head of the bandana-wearing man at the barricade, who kind of grabs his crossbow and just, and just, "Come on, there's something here." And she pulls the hammer of the rifle back and starts to check the area of the alley. What are you going to do? All right. With your thief ability, you can make that climb perfectly well. You, again, kind of squirrel your way down the walls and make it to the bottom along with Red, who gives you a smile and a thumbs up. Nice job. Yeah, it's not going to keep him busy for long. Come on, let's start looting. All right. Okay. And I'll say Red, just since you have the bag of holding, Red's just going to kind of help you loot most of it. So I will not reveal the value of the gems you picked up, but you pick up 10 gems and 695 platinum pieces. So yeah, 10 unidentified gemstones and 695 plat.
695, eh? 695 times 10. 6,950.
Yeah, I said just shy of 700, which 500 would indeed be just shy of that. Yep, Zephyr, you and your spawn take everything that the robots did not already. Whatever wealth this city once possessed, at least in this bank, is now completely drained.
Oh my God, Zephyr. You're gonna leave one platinum coin.
Yeah, I'm not heartless. Are you actually gonna do that? Alright. 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 Anything else? Or are you just gonna take everything, leave the copper coin, and then get out? Okay. Make a stealth check. See if you can make your getaway clean. I mean, yeah, if you want. Although if you're gonna go at half speed, you will have to make a check to try and climb properly, because you have to be going at your full speed in order to reach the top, if I understand it right. Yes. Oh no, yeah, it's just treated as difficult terrain. So yeah, you can do that. All right. So yeah, you can roll stealth at advantage then if you're gonna take it slow, which Red will follow your lead. Okay. All right, Zephyr. With loot in your bag of holding, you start scaling the wall quietly. Make your way onto the roof, and start to lower yourself to pull Red back out. Or at least that was your plan. Zephyr, you hear a and a as a bullet ricochets next to your feet, and you turn to see one of the guards dressed in leather armors that have been kind of tanned and dried to be this kind of golden color to match the Sun Dragon colors, wielding the musket, which she quickly passes off to another guard who hands her her loaded one. And as she pulls the hammer back on this one, she scoffs and speaks out. I would expect this sort of thing from the machines, but not from one of our own. Come down with your hands up. You gonna fight your way out? Go. I'll be right behind you. Okay. What are you gonna do? Yeah, you can see the guard that she had passed the fired musket to is helping her reload it, while the other guards raise what appears to be a javelin and a crossbow at you. They are to the ground. That's about 20 feet from where you are, and then about an additional, I'd say, 20 feet out. So, again, it's one of those weird, like, angular math things, but they're about 25 feet out from you, and then you are 20 feet in the air. Okay. DC? She succeeds. All right. Yeah, I was going to say that actually is very smart because now their muskets are wet. And sure enough, as you coat this woman in water, she just kind of stares, almost nonplussed. But as she pulls the trigger, all right, and she hands the other musket to the girl who's still kind of hurriedly in the process of reloading the first one, and bring him in, boys.
Zephyr had to go and get cocky.
What's your AC right now, Zephyr?
He literally took off all of his advantages just to try and basically flex.
Okay. Zephyr, yeah, do you have Whisper on you? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's why I was checking. Okay. Um, the guard in the back hucks their javelin, and it sticks into the ground near you, and you have to kind of dodge out of the way. The guy with the crossbow looses it, and it sails past you. But as the guard's seeming just personal helper hands her the freshly loaded musket she had fired before, she pulls the hammer back, levels it, and really quickly fires. And this bullet finds purchase in your leg. You take... Gotta get the right dice out. There we go. Yeah, sure, I'll allow that. It's 8 piercing, so you can use uncanny dodge to half that to 4. So you make to kind of roll out of the way, and it still catches on your thigh, but you manage to avoid it making a meat shot into your leg. And she again immediately passes the gun to her helper, who passes her the freshly unjammed one. What are you gonna do? All right, so basically, are you trying to just escape at this point? All right, roll me a stealth check. As you disappear over the side of the building and start just more sliding down than anything, because again, dome-shaped, you can hear the woman call, "After him!" And the sound of rushing footsteps. Okay. Zephyr, leaving Red in the vault, you slide down and just start running. You dart in between alleyways, under buildings, climbing up and hiding out on the roofs at times. And it actually doesn't take you too long. After you've slid into an alley, climbed up a building, and just waited on the roof to see what's going to happen, you see the 4 guards with guns and weapons at the ready run past you. And while they do eventually split up and start searching the area, their search radius is actually... They seemed like they were expecting you to run further before darting off to find a hiding spot. So you're not that far from the bank, but they appear to have already passed up your hiding spot and assumed that you wouldn't be hiding there. You have escaped. For now.
And now they're going to be looking for a kobold.
Yeah, they saw what you
stole
looked
them.
like.
Could have at least tried to fashion a mask.
Yeah, you'd have to get something for your entire head,
Saying-
your hands, and your
Are
tail.
you saying all kobolds look alike? What are they gonna do? Just arrest every kobold they see?
Might at least ask them questions. See if one of them is coming into a suspicious amount of wealth. What are you going to do from this point, Zephyr? Yeah, they ran past you and then split up to look for you. Yeah, he said, "Go, I'll be right behind you." You haven't seen him, but last you saw he was in the vault, but they didn't appear to have noticed him because he hadn't climbed out yet whenever you got busted. He did. Yeah, he has. Yeah, you're outside the bank at this point, just chilling in the surrounding area. Ah, yes. Farmhouse or a little hut. Okay.
Where he left his stuff.
Usually he isn't using it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was under the impression he had left it there.
Yeah, you didn't specify, to be fair, but I just assumed. Okay. Zephyr, giving it a few minutes to ensure that the search has well gone beyond your proximity, you start sneaking your way back to the hut. Heist successful. Yeah, very important. 695 platinum and 10 miscellaneous gems. Okay. as you make your way back to the hut, alone, but significantly wealthier. A lone tiger automaton skulks on the starboard command airship, searching the outlying railing for any sign of intruders before quickly being dispatched with a from a laser rifle. Keto, Gil, Caleb, with Raccoon, you have been fighting the robot onslaught the vast majority of the night. You are exhausted, mechanically and metaphorically.
I was gonna say that Caleb was gonna immediately split back outside to regroup with the others.
Yeah, which, again, I'm assuming you have. Several hours have passed by this point. You guys were fighting the robots all night.
I could do this for days.
I can do this all day.
Keto, as you kind of lean over the railing, looking around for any signs of mechanical intruders, you see the sun beginning, well, I say beginning, but yeah, you see the sun has risen, and either you've drained this airship's supply of robot bodies, or they're simply not bothering with you anymore. Either way, you appear to have secured the airship for the time being. However, all of you take a point of exhaustion as you are up all night running around this airship fighting robots.
How do I do exhaustion?
I'll put it on your character sheet, but for future reference, yeah, Austin, go ahead.
Alright, Caleb. I guess since Caleb's outside, he's gonna say, we should get out to field while we can.
Oh no, I have a few things I'm going to be doing.
Bear in mind,
we have cleaned that shit.
Keto, you bear this in mind with your part of the role play as well. Gil, you and Caro have not only not slept all day, similar to Caleb, as you were again up all night fighting the robot onslaught, but you and Caro in particular did all of that fighting after running a several-mile marathon twice.
Yeah, so first, I'm going to go find somewhere to sleep for a bit.
We should just leave. We did what we came to do. Let this thing go until it runs out of fuel and crashes somewhere.
There's so many good things here.
You can pick the
We should
rubble.
rest for now.
I'm not picking.
And I'd rather
you know
not
how-
rest somewhere where the robots could come back if they build more of them.
Who's going to build them?
Didn't we see it? Didn't we see them basically just being like they seem like they're just kind of automatically built?
You don't know what the process of them being built is, but you have seen the port side command blimp occasionally funneling out new machines.
Because besides, not all the people on this airship seem to realize that their captain is dead, so they may continue operating under the assumption that he's not. So we should leave, let it crash, and then you can pick the rubble for whatever you want.
Okay, based on my memory, the dragon head and the dragon arm that I cut off, did it fall to the ground, or did it stay on the airship?
Matthew?
Oh, sorry, hit the wrong button. They both fell to the ground. They were on the ship for a bit, but eventually the platform caved in under their weight.
And the actual body, is it still
The body is
there?
still. The body was in the blimp, but has melted into ichor during the procedure.
Okay. Well, I can't get us down yet because my boots are out of fuel. So
We
we're going to
use
have
all of them?
yeah. For quite a bit, yeah. I think it's for 2 hours worth for every 12 hours rest, or something like that. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, 2 hours of flying capability for every 12 hours they are not in use.
So what do you guys want to do?
You guys, Lucian?
Well, Lucian will probably be here somewhere.
Do we know Lucian's here?
No, Lucian has not arrived yet. We'll get there, don't worry.
Yeah, so as far as we know, you're on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, she's gone.
And we need to get down to
Oh.
something that's flying. We're shooting it down first next time.
Well,
This
do we
being
have a
reliant
way
on
out?
others.
How do we get out of here?
I just got to give my boots some time to recharge, and then I can get us out of here. So till then, he is going to go and look for loot.
All right. With that unceremonious declaration, Gil stumbles off to start looking for something valuable. Keto, what are you gonna do?
He's about ready to collapse, so like he'll kind of hobble off into the inner parts of the ship to find somewhere to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, Caleb wants to find somewhere to crawl into and sleep as well.
Okay.
Somewhere safe.
All right. Cracking open the airlock that Raccoon had just magicked their way through, you all re-enter the main headquarters blimp of this apparatus.
Empty?
Well, let me get there. The floor is littered with ichor from the dragon, Brogdoo's fallen body lying in the center of it all, and destroyed shards and skeletal remains of the robots that you guys fought your way through. Making your way across the headquarters, the goblins appear to have mostly started congregating in Tropu's former office. His body kind of wheeled out and left next to Brogdoo's in the ichor. Caleb, you kind of admire your handiwork as you pass by, with both goblins' heads being just completely missing.
Caleb is just like, beautiful.
As the three of you enter Tropu's office, you see that Raccoon is kind of crouched and kind of giving quiet, encouraging words in Goblic to the frightened goblin crew, whose fright only increases as all of the three of you enter covered in blood and oil. But Caleb, you find the spot under the desk where Tropu, or rather Brogdu, had been cowering. Kero, you find just a spot near the door that you can lay up against.
And we both just collapse.
Yeah, and Gil, you start scanning the shelves where you can see a wide variety of very valuable looking things, as well as several doors that appear to lead deeper into Tropu's personal vaults.
Okay. So I'm going to start going through the doors and everything.
Make an investigation check.
And did I see roughly where the little hatchling dragon came from? When-
No, in the chaos
where
of the
some of the-
battle, you were not able to see.
Does Carol still have that dragon falling?
Yes, the dragon wormling is curled up in Karo's lap, sleeping.
Was the wormling tired too?
Yeah, it was up all night with you guys.
You said investigation?
Yes.
21.
Okay, noted. Lucian.
To imagine from those goblins' perspective.
Oh, wow.
What were you going to say, Caleb?
I was just saying, from those goblins' perspective, Caleb and Carol come in covered in scratches and oil, walked into 2 spots, and then just collapsed in the middle of the room.
Lucian, it takes you, even at a dead sprint, hours to reach the other side from bow to stern. You can't imagine how the goblins are capable of this. The only thing you can think of being that, in your experience, goblins tend to be fast little buggers.
Yeah.
You and this goblin woman are exhausted mechanically by the time you arrive.
Okay. I'll write that down.
You're huffing for breath, but more What's up? You're huffing for breath and kind of grabbing at your chest by the time you arrive. However, your attention is soon.
I imagine Lucian she'll put her hands on her knees and her head between her knees and just give me a second. Just 1 second.
Yeah, because let's review for a second. Lucian, over the course of the past almost 24 hours now, you skydove off an airship, levitated your way back up, fought a robot, snuck your way on foot across several miles, and then ran your way on foot across double that distance and didn't get any sleep.
She's just holding one finger up, just.
Or as you're stammering out a plea for the goblin woman to slow down, Lucian, as you cross the threshold between 2 buildings on this airship and step out into the sort of clearing area surrounding one of the engines and turbines, you're baffled by what you see. A veritable field of fallen robots. And kind of looking around, you see several of them were cut cleanly, almost by plasma, and several of them have crossbow bolts or laser burns through their skulls.
So Gil and Caro were here, and me?
What happened?
She found the battleground of you guys' fucking carnage.
Mm. I like how Matthew just simulated the battle.
Well, I figured if Gil and Caro can do it by themselves, I figure you guys with twice the numbers can do it easily, so I figured I would just skip it.
It's
All the
appreciated.
stuff he said last session about well, to be fair, this was a smaller swarm and they weren't all having their attention on you. And
Yeah, but bear in mind that what was left was a tiny fraction of the ship's crew, and you guys again had twice the numbers. So I figured you guys winning this one at this point was kind of a no-brainer. And I
I'll say
decided to be nice and not have you force you to do the same fight twice.
I'll inform Nixie. From what I remember, she wanted to speak with Brogdoo, so maybe we should figure out where they may have been.
If she was looking for Brogdoo, then this is the place. Starboard Command Blimp is where Tropu and Brogdoo always operated out of.
Yeah, my friend's probably somewhere in here trying to loot it.
Come on, we'll take the lift. Lucian, you and Nixie board the lift, and it slowly elevates you up to the starboard command blimp.
Is this one?
You're cutting up bad. I can't hear what you're saying.
Hey.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Is this better than any of the other elevators I've been on?
Given that the only thing separating you from another almost 3,000 foot drop is not tripping, no.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking like hold on to like the sides of the elevator and like close my eyes. I really hate elevators.
You get used to it.
There's no place
I
like
hate
home.
them so much.
There's no place like home.
You thankfully, clutching the surrounding borders of the platform for dear life, reach the top of the lift arc, and Nixie kind of gives you a nudge to get your attention that you've made it. And
Oh, thank God.
even this part of the blimp is just coated in fallen robots. If Caleb, Gil, Caro, and Raccoon were here, they made a fucking mess last night.
Oh boy. Well, at least you guys don't have to worry about the robots anymore.
Yeah, until that big fucking thing just makes more of them.
Well, didn't you say that if there was nobody manning it, like it wouldn't like work?
The goblin kind of thinks for a moment, stepping off the platform and kind of pulling you onto the command blimp, and I more figure that they won't go after us, but sorry, I had to sneeze.
Okay.
I figure they won't go after us, but there's a chance it's still in there, just making things.
It
Yeah, it.
can you elaborate on that?
These people that Tropu and Brogdoo worked with, they didn't build this airship, but they did build something for him. It's this big metal ball with an eye in the middle and a bunch of tentacles coming off of it. It doesn't do anything, it's just wired up into the blimp, but if we bring it metal or just random junk, it can put them together into, well, those things that are operating the ship for us.
Matthew, my darling DM.
Amanda, my darling player.
Would this be, to my, many studies, something that sounds like the legendary Beholder?
Make a history check.
Cool. I can do that. I'm gonna pull that up. Lucky for me, I know too. Ooh, she now has a +8. What is that? Okay, that's good.
26.
26? 26.
The physical description sounds fairly close to one. Although you've never known one to be made of metal or to assemble automatons.
Yeah, but I mean, this is Kaloom we're talking about. I'll just kind of make that face of I really hate that man. Kind of scrunch up my Anyway, let's go find Raccoon, shall we?
You mean Gekt?
Potato.
It's really nothing like that. And Nixie reaches up to start cranking at the airlock.
I'll help.
Lucian, as you and Nixie close the airlock behind you, open up the next layer, and step through. You find the scene of carnage I described earlier. Robot bodies everywhere. However, unlike before, you see a massive pool of ichor, and lying untainted in its center is the headless and handless form of Brogdu.
I'll kind of turn to Nixie. See?
Looks like that bastard finally got what he deserved.
Oh, thank God, right? Raccoon, are you in here, darling?
You don't hear a response.
Do I see my friends anywhere?
Make a perception check.
Do that.
You're a barbarian.
20.
Yeah.
So 28.
Squinting, you can see across on the opposite side of this command blimp, you can see that there is some shadowed figures just barely visible through the glass of several crouched goblins. However, at a glance, you cannot make out your friends, but there at least seems to be some life on the ship.
Yeah, like, I just realized, don't you have disadvantage? Everyone,
Oh, shit.
Yeah, everyone has disadvantage. Well,
Oh, no,
Zephyr.
it's still not bad. I had a 17 plus
Alright, so
8,
So that still would have been enough to see the
25.
goblins, so. Seeing
Thank
the
you for
goblins as
reminding me.
well, Nixie immediately just starts running, kind of tromping through the ichor, either ignorant of or uncaring of the dangers of touching it.
I'll be like, please don't touch the black stuff.
What?
I'll take out my handkerchief and start like cleaning her fingers. It's really dangerous. Don't touch it, please.
Alright, fine. And she kind of dips to the side of the pathway and climbs under it and starts basically taking the maintenance rigging to get to the other side while you kind of scrub your way along.
Yeah, I'll follow her, but like,
A lot of
I'm
ichor to
probably-
clean up.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm just cleaning up her hands, the whatever she touched.
That sounds like a them problem.
See, that's the difference between you and me, Zephyr.
Zephyr's not there.
Anyways, I'm gonna follow her because she knows what she's doing, and I don't.
Okay.
It's the first time
Lucian
Lucian's ever
admit?
admitted to that.
I said she's gotten better, and you people don't listen.
It's funny.
Gil, you start to just cracking open the door, start perusing all of Tropu's various personal accoutrements. You find that essentially the inside of this balloon is actually some reinforced structures, and essentially Tropu had built himself and Brogdu this almost little apartment that surrounds the internal flame of the balloon, and that's what gives light into all of this. So it's actually this very nice, luxurious thing of like from your perpetually left side. There's always this brilliant fire from the inside of the balloon that just like casts this dim orangish red lighting over everything, and you just start to explore. Tropu has built quite a nice little area for himself here. It's a multi-floored structure, easily 3 or 4 floors, and each one has its own little mysteries and treasures to it. However, a few notable highlights you found over the course of about an hour or two of looking around. You find a room full of various just forms of locomotion. You see wheelchairs, crutches. You even see like what appear to be very primitive designs, like blueprints on the wall for mech suits similar to what Neon had. You see prosthetic limbs that appear to be from just various species. Towards
What kind of limbs?
again, they're from various creatures. You can see wings, arms, claws, tentacles.
I'm going to pocket into my bag of holding some of the arms and stuff like that.
All right, so what are you going for? Arms, wings, tentacles?
Arms and wings.
All right. You take a few of the retrievable clockpunk prosthetics. In one room, you see that there's actually a very small aviary, inside of which you see several of the dragons like Ruby. However, the aviary is far too small for them, and they just kind of just lull around the aviary listlessly.
Let them free. Let them free.
Do they seem like, are they tame? Are they wild? Can I tell?
Make a nature check.
Disadvantage.
It's disadvantage.
Yeah,
they're
remember
both
you're
the same.
exhausted.
They're both the same. I rolled the same thing. They're 17.
They're in such a dull, listless state that you're honestly not certain, and they look so unhealthy that you're honestly not positive that even if you did let them out, that they would have the initiative to fly away. Not to mention you would have to get them through this blimp and out to the outside to actually fly off.
I'm gonna get the door open so they can at least, if they figure it out, can get out.
Okay. You open the aviary door and move on to the next area. You find what appears to be a hospital where injured crew members would be treated, and this definitely seems like something Lucian would like. Looking around, you see in place, while there is like medical tools lying around and various healing potions and chemicals, what mainly catches your attention is something that is unique to this one. There is a cabinet on the other side of the room, and just kind of opening it out of curiosity, again, just looking for any valuables, you see row upon row of jars with brains inside them.
Ooh.
Interesting. Not really up his alley, but he'll save that for Lucian. So he's going to pocket as many of the health potions as he can find.
Okay.
But he's putting those into his regular backpack.
All right. You find 3 potions of greater healing.
I'm writing it.
Okay.
You find that the aviary wasn't the only thing that Tropu had just in his area. It appears he had something almost of a personal zoo for himself. In addition to the pteranodons, you see harpies crouched, again, in a far too small aviary. You see butterflies and aquariums filled with spiders and various predatory fish. And I will say, you notice in the fish and spider cages are the skeletons of Tengu and goblins.
Oh. Right.
But, you mentioned harpies, yes?
Yes.
Are they intelligent?
Yes, harpies in this world are sentient.
What do I know about them?
Make a history check.
Ooh.
It's a 12.
You are not an expert on the creatures. They obviously did not typically live in areas you're familiar with, and even if they did, you were the colonel. You didn't interact with the common folk. You're not an expert on harpies, but you know them to be an intelligent, skyfaring people that typically inhabit mountains. And while they are an unpredictable bunch, but they are more than capable of being friendly. It's mostly just that their lack of personal hygiene and somewhat unpredictable personalities makes it rare for people to get along with them.
Okay, so he's going to go over to the harpy area, and he's going to say, do y'all understand common?
The harpy in the aviary looks up, and you see that she's a woman with kind of long, greasy hair. Her skin is tallow and sunken. And her wings are this kind of dull yellowish color. It appears like they might have been gold at one point. And she just huddles her wings around herself. But as she looks up at you and you speak to her, she doesn't say anything, but just gives a slow nod.
So, how many do I see? Is it just the one?
Looking around, you see that there's about 4.
And they're all in the same enclosure?
Yeah, which, again, is far too small for really even one to humanely live.
I will let y'all out. You're free to go and return to wherever you want to go. Just do not hurt anything that's here, and you can have your freedom.
As you unlock and pull open the aviary door, the women all look to each other and kind of start slowly helping each other to their taloned feet and start to kind of slowly hobble their way out. The one who you had spoken to approaches you and shakes your hand in a feathered claw and lets out a low, whispered, "Thank you. Thank you."
And the ones that had y'all held here, just so you are aware, are dead. So no worries about them.
While you don't think they quite have the energy right now to smile or laugh, you do notice one of the women breaks out into a wicked, nasty-looking grin at the news. And the one shaking your hand gives you one final, "Thank you," before kind of hurriedly hopping to catch up with her fellows as they start making their way out of the airship.
And I will continue on my way.
Elsewhere in Tropu's personal accoutrement, you find one final zoo enclosure that appears to have some digging creatures. You can't see what they are, but there's some creatures that are buried in sand and dirt. And a personal library. And kind of flicking through the books idly, just out of curiosity, you notice it is almost exclusively spells based on movement.
How many of those are there?
Well, there's books everywhere, but in terms of like spell books,
Yeah.
there appears to be 2.
I will pocket those for Lucy.
Okay.
Gil, you're the best.
But yeah, just kind of flicking through them idly. You don't know spellcraft super well, but you can see teleportation spells, spells to allow flight and gliding, spells to allow you to build things that can let you move and transport yourself. This all of what you're finding here speaks of a man who is desperate to overcome his physical condition by any means necessary. Most of the other books you can find are history books, foreign books that you can't read, and interestingly, some religious studies. The final things you find that interest you at all is a small laboratory where several what appear to be inactive prototypes of the robots lie, as well as a strange headset and what appears to be a prototype for Tropu's chair.
I want to get the headset.
Okay.
I'm going to put it on, and I'm going are there any buttons or anything on it?
There is a button on the right-hand side.
I want to push the button. What happens?
All right. Gil, as you put the headset on, your vision immediately goes dark. And pressing the button on the right-hand side, you kind of blink rapidly as suddenly light floods your eyes. And as your eyes adjust, you realize you're seeing an open sky. And you almost go into a panic for a second because, it's that like Oculus Rift thing of like you're not used to it, so your brain's like, oh shit. But after a moment, you realize that you're effectively seeing an illusion. It's just this peaceful, calming illusion of an open sky. And looking around, you realize that the illusion actually follows your eye movements. It is effectively a VR headset that you're wearing. And
you would find that.
It doesn't appear to have any like useful function to you, but you do notice that the illusion it's broadcasting is just what it would be like to fly.
Oh, wow. That's
Oh.
kind of sad.
It really is quite sad.
I think Caleb will sleep just fine.
Then, during my exploration of this area, did I find where he would sleep at and stuff? Like, did I have a bed and all that?
Yes, you did find him and Brogdoo's bedrooms, which you notice adjoin each other directly.
He's gonna go relax on one of the beds for his rest before he goes to continue looting the rest of the airship.
Okay. With a few prosthetic limbs in tow, you make yourself comfortable. Lucian, mopping up as much of the direct mess of Ichor as you can, you and Nixie carefully cross the center platform where the dragon's proud body had once laid, and approach what used to be Tropu's command center. And you see in front of it is a Tengu's body in a wheelchair with its head completely gone.
I'm gonna flick it off.
And Nixie, as they pass by, kind of gives the wheelchair a kick and just, bastard.
Ooh, I'm gonna fucking kick it too. Hell yeah, I'm into this. Like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Good one, Nixie.
Been wanting to do that for years.
Oh gods, I know. It's terrible. Can't wait to kill the other ones.
And as you push the glass doors of Tropu's command center open, you see Caro curled up next to the door sleeping.
Oh.
You see Raccoon curled up with a huge mob of goblins.
Aww.
And you see Caleb curled up under the desk.
I was about to get to it. Indeed.
Well, sometimes you let us flavor it.
That is true. Indeed, Caleb curled up under what appears to have once been Tropu's command desk, sleeping. All is quiet.
I'll turn to Nixie. Do you want to wake her?
Nixie is silent. You watch as she slowly steps forward towards Raccoon's sleeping body and falls to her knees next to the sleeping goblin girl and begins to gently run a clawed hand through her hair.
I'll just stand.
Nixie
I'll kind of make my way over there, so when Raccoon wakes up, she'll at least have a familiar face.
Although Nixie does not seem to be in a hurry to wake the girl, and instead curls around her almost protectively, and not looking directly at you, but just kind of giving a nod in your direction. You can hear a low, in common now, as your tongue spell will have worn off. Thank you.
You rest.
She can't hear you very well. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. She said, you rest well with her, and I'm gonna go find myself somewhere to.
Okay. The last you see is Nick. Nope.
I do want to say before I go to sleep, I do have one thing I want to do. So when we get back to that, I won't.
Alright. The last you see is Nixie protectively curled around Raccoon's head and placing a gentle kiss in her hair. Heading upstairs, you see much of the same sights that Gil had. This monument to a lonely and obsessed man who was dedicating... Lucian, you're a scientist. This is easily decades of research, all with the singular focus of granting a disabled man the ability to not just walk, but fly. The library full of books all dedicated to locomotion, vehicles, anything that could make him so much as levitate. A personal zoo full of flying creatures that he could study how their wings moved, and how their bodies adjusted for flight. All of this airship, even this single blimp, is clearly the culmination of decades of work to get him to the point that you eventually found him at, only for a young Tabadran boy to unceremoniously rip it away from him. You eventually find Gil completely unconscious, covered in blood and oil, in what appears, judging from the relative, because I will say, you notice one of the bedrooms has kind of like a distinct medical smell to it. It appears that Gil has taken what was once Brogdu's bedroom, which leaves you to take Tropu's. The beds are very small for the pair of you, but at this point, you'll take what you can get.
Yeah. I'm gonna cover Gil and just kind of softly pat his head. Try not to wake him up.
Alright.
I'll head to Tropu's room. Go face first into the pillow.
Alright.
But I do have something that I want to do. Yeah.
Alright, what do you want to do?
Just as I just lay in the bed and just feel every muscle I have contract, I'm going to cast Sending, and I'm going to message Sun Dragon.
Okay. What would you like to say?
Ding dong.
Is
the
it
bastard's
morning?
dead.
Yeah. What time of day is it?
At this point, it is like early afternoon. It's like, I'd say like something in the ballpark of like 1 or 2.
Okay. So I'll hopefully she's awake. I'll just say, hopefully you got the message that we were here. That was me turning off the cannon for you. We defeated everything that was on the sheet, and honestly, we are all very exhausted. I hope you don't mind, but I think that we would all sleep, and then we'll probably come down tomorrow sometime when we wake up. That's my...
The response comes quickly. Sun Dragon's loud, bombastic voice kind of jolting you as you're attempting to fall asleep. All right, awesome job. You sure don't disappoint. Get all the rest you need. The ship you can have for nothing. See you guys soon. Oh, and if you see a dragon, tell him to come home.
Oh no. Alright, I'm gonna use my last spell. This is my very, very last spell that I can do for the day.
Well,
I'm gonna cast Sending. I don't know how to tell you this. I'm gonna give it to you straight. Your dragon is dead. But the good news is, the person who killed it is also dead. So he is avenged. I hope that this is some kind of comfort to you. And I can't believe how much the loss is. to be the one to tell you.
You wait for a response. And one never comes.
It's okay. I'm gonna give her time to mourn. And I'm gonna get some sleep.
Okay. A day of rations and water from each of you. As you settle into bed, or whatever qualifies for a bed this high in the sky, and you sleep. Early in the day for it, but you need it. You sleep. Zephyr. By the time you arrive at the hut that you've been using as a sort of improvised hideout, you see that Red is actually already there, lounging across the bed, and gives you a nod whenever you enter through the back door. I was wondering when you get here.
Yes. Took a little bit to lose them.
Well, you got away. Still managed to keep your grip on everything?
Well, didn't take much to lose them, so didn't lose anything. He'll pull out his bag of holding. The one with all the money.
Nice job. So, what's the plan now? Want to hit up any more places, or try and make it back to the caravan before anyone notices we're gone?
Well, been gone for a while, and well, I don't believe. Yeah, I think it's been too long to go back and do that. It'd take us too long to get there anyway.
True. Plus, the little dragons might tattle on us. Well, what's your plan then?
Well, I guess we should figure out what we have here. Obviously, we have a fair amount of platinum, but I need to look over these gems myself to know their value. So we could take a bit to rest to look while we look that over.
Sounds good. I'll see if I can't help you out a bit.
And he'll just kind of take out those 10 miscellaneous gems, right?
Yes.
Try to use his tools to figure out what they are.
All right. Again, do you have proficiency in jeweler's tools?
It
doesn't look like it, but
I thought that. Oh no, I was going to. Wanted to use the book, but neon. I forgot to leave it. I left it with neon.
Okay. In that case, make an intelligence check. However, because Red is helping you, I'll give you advantage.
Character sheet. Let's see, intelligence with advantage.
Yes.
Okay.
Advantage.
Okay. 2 12s, so 13.
Okay. Looking over the gems, they're a fairly valuable selection. You don't imagine the pearls and the lapis will go for a whole lot, and some of the gems are a little on the dented or damaged side. However, Oh, sorry. However, quite a few of them do appear to be in good condition and appear to be incredibly valuable. You're not positive, but you estimate that your haul in gems, between you and Red kind of putting your heads together, you estimate that you may have gotten at least like 10,000 gold in gems. I will send you over direct message what gems you got and their individual value.
And it's mainly that one gem in particular. That one gem in particular is where all that money comes.
So you have easily an extra several thousand gold from this.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Doing some math here, I guess. Do you want? How would you like to split this?
Red kind of looks to you curiously, and I'll admit I don't have much need for it. But I'll take a small handful, I guess, and you can keep the rest. And do you plan to give this to any of the others, or is this just for you?
I have no plans to give to the others. They're off doing the ship. I'm assuming that ship has some valuables to it. He seems, he seems like he likes his wealth. So they already have a fair amount of stuff for themselves. Plus, they weren't part of this job, so the less they know, the better.
Yeah.
But
in that case, as long as I'm traveling with you, you can hold on to it. But if I end up taking off later, I'll take a few gems off your hands to be able to make ends meet and figure it out from there.
Okay.
But if we're not planning to hit anywhere else, then you want to just rest here until we hear something from your buds?
This is cut in half. Well, not really sure where we could go besides the palace. So,
which, given that they got a description from you, or of you rather.
Yes. That is also true. I know you mentioned the whole dragon horde, but I have no idea where would that be.
Beats me.
So I guess we'll lay low for a bit until it seems safe, and then if we see the others, then we'll group with them.
Sounds like a plan, boss. And with that, he kind of lounges further on the bed, but kind of pushes the body of the former occupant away with his tail. And, mind taking this guy outside?
Zephyr looks at the body, and then he looks at his arms. Like, think I could do that? Do I look like I could do that?
Red just kind of stares at you for a minute and... Alright, fine. But I get to keep the bed.
Alright. And Zephyr
You all
will
get a long rest.
Yeah, like Zephyr will make sure to put back all his good stuff. His good shit.
Yeah. While it may not have been perfect, you did get spotted, and the guards lived to tell about it. But at the end of the day, you got away with almost 20,000 gold, and all of that without your, luck of the draw thieving tools. You're pretty proud of yourself. As you all awaken from your rest, again, you all get a long rest. Your exhaustion mostly cured. Some of you are still a little tired.
Caleb
Gil,
gets to be lucky again.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, you've been down on your luck this whole time, quite literally. As you all awaken, Caro and Gil, you're still a little tired, but you're at least better off than you were. However, Caro and Caleb.
I will say, Caleb is completely out of water in his water skin.
It's a good thing that the town is near. Go for a nice long hot.
Gil, you can hear Lucien's voice in the next room. And Caleb, as you awaken and drain the last few drops from your water skin and kind of do that thing of like tilting it upside down and shaking it half-heartedly. Caro, you start to awaken, still having that kind of crusty feeling of like wanting to sleep a bit more. However, the two of you's attention is quickly stolen by what you see among the goblins. The goblins that had been in the starboard command blimp are gathered in a circle around two goblins in the center. Raccoon and an unfamiliar goblin woman dressed all in black. The two of them have their heads pressed together, and as the two of you start to shuffle awake, the goblins turn their attention to the two of you, and along with the women in the center. And Raccoon and the woman both have tears visible in their eyes. And Raccoon gives Caleb and Carol a wide, toothy smile, and
Are me and Gil present?
No, you two are upstairs in the bedrooms.
Okay.
Caro looks to the two of you with a wide, toothy goblin smile. One of the first times since Mercurial you've seen her actually smile, and... It's my mama. We found her. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, I wanted to say something to Raccoon.
I'll just write it down and you can do it next week.
Okay.
I guess I know how we're gonna resolve the missing player situation, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's a snake goblin.
So, with that, Dragons is largely concluded. The airship is yours, although there does sound to be a mysterious central intelligence of sorts in the portside command structure that, if given resources, can continue to manufacture robots. However, it seems like it has probably run out of metal at this point. Tropu and Brogdu lie dead, and Raccoon has been reunited with her birth mother. the survivor of Brogdu's ascent to power. Zephyr has concluded their heist and has proven that they do not need to rely on no fancy magic items to be one of the best
Sure.
thieves in the world.
They proved something.
They proved something, that's all.
Next week, we will be playing as usual, but there is going to be a bit of a time skip as Gil has to get surgery to repair their arms. So all of you, if you haven't already, consider what you may want to do with your downtime and let me know.
We already got our level ups for this.
Yeah. Level ups have already been distributed. At this point, it's just downtime for proficiencies or just relaxing and downtime
We're gonna
activities.
play at the normal time next week.
Yeah. Like, we've already taken a break. It's just basically this was wrapping up any loose ends from this arc. If you want to see
Don't
more,
worry, you'll get your time in.
if you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/GrahamCrackers, GRAMECRACKERZ, for my Friday campaign, The Goldshine Investigations, at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, featuring a party of investigators trying to unravel the cultish conspiracy that threatens to plunge their home into war. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info, resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer who manages to save the lives of goblins. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly, and support our episodes posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 9:30 Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions, and check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Human Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH. Do not get it wrong. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link's about to be posted as well. Or on Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/Odd Tornado Productions. And follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TornadoOdd. TNO are in fact capitalized. And if you want to see more of this party, tune in Mondays at 9:30 Central Daylight Time on the same channels for our Monday game, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globe-trotting treasure hunters that are trying to gather the artifacts of the gods to open up a door, behind which is either a valuable treasure, an apocalyptic curse, or the ancient preserved body of a Second Age warlord. One of the two. 3. Thanks, everybody at the table, so much for playing. Thanks, everyone at home, so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week.
The other reason why I'm surprised you would want to do Pathfinder, you hate math.